you have a difficulty dealing with the intermittent nature of wind power. There's been articles in the papers and commentaries, and response tend to be evasive and not to the point. And your statement here on the intermittent nature of wind tonight was poor. You made a comparison between wind and hydro. The difference is hydro is a seasonal issue. They know well in advance that spring runoff, they can run that. So it is intermittent in that sense. Wind, on the other hand, comes and goes at a whim. And as a result, the baseload suppliers, which I'm assuming you were not suggesting wind would ever replace them, the baseload suppliers, those in Vermont are nuclear, 2/3 are nuclear, and hydro. In the country, it's 2/3 are coal and natural gas, must operate at near or full capacity in order to be prepared for the fluctuation and the sudden dropping of wind. So there is really no net result in terms of improving our hydrocarbon footprint and in terms of dealing with greenhouse gases. There is no net reduction in all those things we're trying to fight. So my question to you is, am I right or am I wrong?
You're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you're wrong.
I'd like to hear
The U.S. Department of Energy believes you're wrong. The Public Service Board, I believe, will believe you're wrong. You know, there are elements of truth to what you're saying. Certainly, wind is not baseload power.
Let's jump to those elements so we can.
Okay. It would be very, very helpful if we could have an opportunity to get a debate with really qualified experts, maybe with these two different perspectives, and bring them to the community and maybe some of the other issues that are in dispute. And to have a meeting or a series of meetings. I think the Regional Planning Commission, in fact, is proposing to do that, kind of on the principles of wind energy. You know, how does it work? And is that true, or, you know, should they believe me or should they believe you? My general recommendation is don't believe either of us. Let's get the folks who work with this all the time and know it inside and out, maybe with different perspectives, bring them here. Let's have an open discussion. Let's encourage the Regional Planning Commission to do it on economics and on how wind works in with the grid, and then get as many people there as possible and make up your own minds. It wouldn't be productive for me to try to engage in that debate here, but the bottom line is $17 billion in investment has been made in 2008 in new wind generation in this country. The Department of Energy is determined, and it's in the letter, has determined that over 1 trillion tons of greenhouse gases can be avoided between now and 2030 if we can change from 1% of our electric supply coming from wind energy to 20% of our electric supply in this country coming from wind energy. If it doesn't create a net greenhouse gas benefit, how does the Department of Energy count for over 1 trillion tons of greenhouse gases being saved as a result of that? So the point is, let's get the Department of Energy, or whoever wrote that report, here and have them explain it. But you know, we could argue all night, but I don't know that it would be the most productive thing that we could do. And it's about kind of the general principles of how wind works, or from your perspective, doesn't work in connection with how the grid works. And that's not really about this project, although it relates to it. But there are a lot of specific issues here that we're here to address. That's one that's perhaps better addressed through a general forum dealing with, you know, the larger issues.
And since you say that you weren't going to argue back and forth all night, I'm not going to let you.